Hey patrons, it is time to bake once a week and we are at week 3 of my dessert bar month and we are making cheesecake bars today. So let's go ahead and get started. As far as tools go, we're really just going to be using our Cuisinart here, food processor, and we're going to be using my KitchenAid mixer with the paddle attachment. That's pretty much it as far as tools go besides the pan that we will be prepping for the bars themselves. Speaking of prepping the pan, we are going to line this 8 by 8 square pan with 2 pieces of foil. They're going to hang over the side and they kind of form a sling that we'll be able to easily pull the bars out. Also, we'll make sure that nothing sticks to the side, so we want to make sure it gets covered completely. It's pretty easy to do. You just fold the foil in the middle and then just press completely into the sides of the pan. You just want to make sure that it's flat all the way along the sides. And voila, when we're ready to get everything going, we'll put it right into the bottom of our prepped pan. We're also going to just spray the pan with just some Pam nonstick spray. And that is going to make sure really nothing sticks. And then we're ready to get started on our crust. All right, so the ingredients for our crust are 7 graham crackers, just regular graham crackers, broken into 1-inch pieces. We have 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that has been melted and slightly cooled. And then in this bowl, we have 3 tablespoons of packed light brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of sugar. And so we're going to start by pulsing the graham crackers first in the food processor. Let's get that working. Okay, we're going to pulse for about 30 seconds. We want fine, even crumbs, which I think we're pretty much at right now. I'll take a look and see. That's what we're trying to get to. All right. Next up, we are going to add in the melted butter. And I like to just make sure we get all the butter because that's the good stuff. And we're going to add the sugar, the flour, and the salt in all together so everything else gets added in. And now we're going to do about 10 pulses to bring this together. All right. We're about done. We're going to go ahead and get this into our pan. Okay, now that we have the crumbs with the butter and the flour and everything into our pan, we're just gonna press this in. You'll know I'm wearing gloves, not just because it's sanitary, because it is, but also because I really hate getting things under my nails and I hate ruining my nails baking, so I keep kitchen gloves pretty handy. So we're just gonna press this into the bottom of the pan evenly. And we're going to be putting this in a 350-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, and we'll rotate halfway in between that. We really just want to get it to it's like fragrant and just starting to brown because we're going to put it back in the oven with the cheesecake filling. So it's not as though this is the only time that this crust is going to get put in the oven. So this is what we want it to look like, pretty even. I like to always make sure that I get the edges really well, just so it's a nice, it's even all across there. We don't have like random bubbles or thicker crust any part of the bar. All right, we're gonna pop this in the oven again for about 12 to 15 minutes, flipping halfway through, and then we'll be back to cool and get started on our filling. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that I am going to be using my stand mixer, which is actually ancient. I guess the first gift my husband ever got me when we first started dating. But I do want to mention this paddle that I use. So all of the Cuisinart or KitchenAid mixers come with a paddle attachment, but I want to show you this little rim that has that's on this one. And the reason why I love it is because as the paddle's working, these little rubber ends scrape the bowl for me. So I'm not continually having to stop and scrape down the bowl over and over again. It's pretty critical in a recipe like this because otherwise you have to scrape a lot just to make sure that you get a nice smooth filling. So if you can, I recommend you get this. It's called Beater Blade, beaterblade.com. You can pick them up. I think it's like 15 bucks or something like that, but it's definitely worth it if you are making recipes consistently with the paddle attachment. Okay, the ingredients for the filling for these cheesecake bars is 1 pound of original Philadelphia cream cheese. We have 2/3 of a cup of granulated sugar, 2 eggs, a 1/4 cup of sour cream, and then we're gonna add a little bit of lemon juice, which is from a fresh lemon, and also some vanilla extract. That's it. These are all the components that are gonna make up our filling for these cheesecake bars. Okay, we have pulled the crust out of the oven from its first bake. You can see it's just starting to brown. It also a lot is by smell. So you start to smell the graham cracker buttery smell in the kitchen, then you know it's time to stop. We did a right around 12 minutes and I flipped halfway through. And so we're gonna let this cool completely on the rack before we get started on our filling. Okay, we are ready to make the filling. So we are starting with a pound of cream cheese in our mixing bowl. And again, if you don't have one of these paddle attachments with the scraper on the end, you wanna stop a couple of times as you're mixing. We're gonna mix on medium high for about 1 to 3 minutes until this is nice and softened. So let's get started. Next, we're gonna gradually add the granulated sugar. I'm gonna probably do it in about 3 or 4 additions. And again, if you don't have that scraper, but each time that you're adding sugar, you want to scrape down the bowl so that you're incorporating everything very nicely. Let's get going. Okay, next up, we're gonna add the eggs. We're gonna add them one at a time and mix. And again, I'll just keep saying it. Just make sure you scrape in between each egg if you don't have a similar paddle to what I have. Let's go. All right, now we're gonna add in the 1/4 cup of sour cream. At the same time, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. And again, this was fresh lemon juice I squeezed from a lemon, so not the jarred kind. And then we're gonna put 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this happens to be Madagascar vanilla extract. I also have Tahitian. I kind of go back and forth depending on how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll do another video about the vanilla cartel because it's very serious. The price of vanilla has gone up like 600% in the last 2 years. And as an avid baker, I can tell you that it has been significant. All right, we're gonna mix this all together for about 30 seconds until everything's all incorporated. Okay, everything is mixed in, and I have to say the secret to a good cheesecake is the consistency of the batter. So you want it so, look how smooth that is. Like no lumps, it's just perfect consistency. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this right on top of our pre-cooked base and get it in the oven. Okay, we've got everything poured into our crust and our pan, and we've evened it out so it's ready to go into the oven. We're going to be baking this at 325 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. I'll be back to check on it because we do want to flip it in the middle, and also there's a specific jiggle point that we're looking for. So I'll see you soon. All right, we're gonna flip this around. Ooh, it's already looking so good. So I'm just gonna turn it completely around, and we're gonna put it back in for the second half of its cooking time. So I've just pulled it out of the oven. I just want to show you. You see that jiggle, that wiggle right there? That's what you want to see. You want that little bit of movement still there. And then we're gonna let this cool 100% completely. It's gonna take a couple hours on a wire rack. We're gonna let it cool 100%. Okay, we are here. We've just pulled our cheesecake bars out of the refrigerator. They actually sat overnight because I didn't need to eat them last night. But you can leave them for just up to 3 hours and then, or overnight, whichever one you want. Now you'll see where these awesome overhang foil come into play, which is that I get to just, boop, pop the entire bar out of the pan and then just pull the sides down to reveal our full cheesecake bars. I'm gonna cut these into squares and be right back. All right, our bars are now completely done. You've seen that they've been cut. I'm gonna just lift one up so you can see the thickness of the cheesecake and the beautiful layer that we have on the bottom. I'm literally just gonna put them into this Tupperware and store them in the refrigerator. You can also freeze them for up to 4 months. If you do freeze them, just let them thaw for about 4 hours before you serve them, and that's it. See you next time.